All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Hello, beautiful women. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for being here with us today. Yay. So, Women's Retreat. We are now on day 5. Day 5. We've been building and building up this amazing energy about how can we show up in life in our feminine ways, embracing all of ourselves and all these different facets in business, in who we are, and shine bright and uplift and support each other. So I'm super happy to be here with you today. I just want to also welcome all of our beautiful women who are tuning into the chat. Say hello. If you're familiar with Sarah, it's great. If you don't know her yet, you're in for a treat. It's going to be awesome. I want to first just introduce myself, and then I'll introduce Sarah. So I'm here, the creatrix of the embodied feminine, and it's really like a work of heart and art of how much we can create in women's circles or women's spaces, and using a lot of personal development tools as well as the shamanic tools from the Toltec lineage, which is all about liberating the personality and truly tapping into who we are at that foundational level. And I think our conversation today is gonna go more even into the essence. Who are we really? So welcome everybody. So I want to introduce Sarah, who's here with us today. She is a vibrational sound coach. And you've got an amazing story and everything. I want to cover some of it and all of it, how you work with sound, grace, and guided intuition. You hold sacred space to allow people to journey within themselves, empowering them to remember the roles that they are the greatest healers. After your near-death experience of the physical and emotional levels, you began your journey into turning to sound healing as a sound for transforming your life. It's so beautiful. So you've devoted yourself to the grace of the guidance, the healing journeys, and creating this beautiful environments of soundscapes and transmissions for women, right? Wow, it can go so far now. Welcome. So, yay. So just tell me about you. Who is Sarah today? What your journey so far, where it brought you to who you are today?
Good question. Long answer. Yeah, basically until I was 26 years old, I really didn't know who I was as a woman. I had been through a lot of situations and just childhood experiences, and I was operating from a place of limitation, a place of lack, not really engaging in relationships that were fulfilling, not working and connected with my purpose or my passion. I was just having a very regular 9 to 5 life. Went to university, got married at 22, got divorced, found myself dealing with a lot of pain, with a lot of traumas that were coming up, but I wasn't even aware of traumas or how they affect us or how they show up or what that looks like when we have unaddressed issues. So at 26 years old, everything kind of came up to the surface, and I had the near-death experience. And this was like the moment where I got to look at my life and I got to evaluate and see how I wasn't living in alignment, like vibrationally, and I wasn't in resonance with who and what I wanted to be, but I didn't know who or what that was. And I still would say that I'm still on the path and exploring and constantly having beautiful downloads and aha moments, and getting excited and lit up about things that I perhaps would have never imagined would have caught my attention or called to me. So who she is today, Sarah, is always shifting, always growing, expanding, learning, doing a lot of introspection, a lot of questioning, really a lot of shadow dancing, and just a lot of integrating on a soul level who this human being came here to be and how she best shows up and how she serves and the space she holds and who she serves and what she serves and why. So she has many layers and there's many complexities, and I let her have as much space as she needs because she didn't have space in her early years. So now she just learns to take it up and hold it and just be who she is, like at a really deep soul level.
Beautiful, beautiful. It resonates so much. It's like that the overall tone for our conversation this whole week about evolution, about who we are becoming, who we were, and just almost like committing to the path of evolution more than a destination of becoming someone or reaching something in our life, but like committing to always questioning, evolving, growing, and reevaluating ourselves, whether it comes to like our value, who we are, or what's needed. Um, yeah, on all levels. So beautiful. Um, it's very profound that you are naming, of course, traumas and different layers that women go through. And I find it's like those are the pieces that kind of like are like the veils or that cover up who we really, really, truly are. And sometimes it's even like not so easy or evident for us to see who we really are in the mirror, you know? And at some point, like in my life, I know there are just moments in life where certain experiences or traumas, past life experiences got revealed to me, and I'm wondering like how come they get revealed at particular times. And sometimes they get revealed at the worst times where like you're in love, you're in the best relationship ever, this is the most amazing heart expanding situation you dreamt of your entire life. Here you are, you show up, and there is this traumatic response all of a sudden that goes smokes, yeah, and it holds us back. So I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that, but I think that would be of value.
Absolutely. Those are actually my favorite moments when the trauma comes up, when the constriction and the restriction and the tension and the closing and all of the old patterns comes up in our system, but in the context of that loving, like that loving space, that relationship, that is that sacred safe space for us to be able to explore, unpack, and like reveal those pieces and those parts of ourselves. It's actually, it's my favorite thing to do because we know that we have the support system. And finding those relationships that are actually capable of holding us in all of our facets and in all of our excess and our chaos and our, like, to be my partner, you have to be really anchored. You have to really be able to handle a lot because I hold a lot and I carry a lot and I've been through a lot. Right. So in my relationships, I tend to not go towards people who have experienced a lot of trauma, because then it's like this trauma bond has a lot more potential to like come out and play. So I
Mhm.
really make sure that I'm held and safe when these things are able like to come up so that they can be looked at and
Mm,
explored and voiced, right? Without, because so often when our traumas pop up, we go into like shutdown mode, or we want to run away, or we want to avoid, or we don't
yeah.
want to really go there because, well, it's the whole reason we've been held back our whole lives. And so if we go there, then we have to like take different actions and make different choices and like break the pattern and change it. So it requires a lot of personal
Mhm.
work, right? And
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
in the full mess of who we are and like, but I love to do that work because then we can see how far we've come from, because those are moments when we're regressing. And in order to progress, we really do have to do the regress state. We have to go and we have to see it. And then we have to like change and rewire our nervous system and the way we're perceiving things so that we can take a step moving forward. We can't just like put them under the rug, because that's why we get in this situation. So it comes up and out to surface so that we can deal with it, regulate,
Mhm.
move forward.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So I hear you saying like the safe environment, whether it's our partner or our circle, somebody who's like really grounded, who can almost like, you know, not freak out or get activated with their own story or trauma, right? And they would be like, oh yeah, this is so bad. I know how it feels, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Like
So
two
how
regulated systems, like in all of the trauma training work, it's like our regulated presence is our competence in somatic experiencing, which I'm a student of and learning to become a practitioner. It's like a 3-year program, but your competence is your presence, because so often we've unpacked stories, whether it be with therapists or with friends or with family, and we just haven't found what we needed in that moment, which was I'm actually safe here and now, and the person isn't being impacted or influenced by what I've just put on the table, right? So as
yeah.
soon as we start doing that work with our friends or like family members who don't have the capacity to be regulated because they see you struggling and it activates things within them, then we're not actually getting that support in order to be
Yeah.
able to like to be able to confront it and then move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned like also in the Toltec school, there are all these different ways of how we meet ourselves. And the usual responses are, when we get like triggered or something happens is fight, flight, or freeze,
Free. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those three. And then the conscious way, the new way is facing it and being with it and witnessing it. So I want to hear, first of all, like from our women who are on this call, are you resonating with this conversation? With the responses of trauma or not feeling, safe, especially when it comes to our voice, right? Like the conversation of like the divine feminine has been up on the rise for, I think, since like 2012 a lot. Um, but like for the past 5 years, it's been like literally everywhere. And there's so many beautiful women's circles and work that is being done. Um, so how does that like relate to women, our voices, and like feeling safe to, it's a huge question, of course, right? But feeling safe in expressing who we are, our needs, boundaries, desires, our work. Um, yeah,
There's a lot in there, right? And
a
so
lot
I
of,
like there's so much in there. And I had my own awakening in 2012. So it's interesting how like so many of us have been walking this path for the last 8 years. And more than anything, like I find that we're just walking our sacred path and we're following our own mission and we're being guided by spirit and we're just being led and we're listening. So my work really brought me to focus on two main areas that I saw that women were getting really stuck in, and that was causing the most distress in the system, which was like the sacral center. Particularly, I work with sexual abuse traumas, particularly incest. That comes up a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And so I would have had no idea when I started 8 years ago that I would hold space for over 500 women who are sexual abuse survivors. Like I didn't advertise, I didn't put it out there, but that's like what came in my direction. And I found that when the sacral is stuck and it's locked because there's a very real trauma that happened or repeatedly happened, um, then we really go into constriction and playing small and not wanting to be seen, not wanting to put ourselves out there, and definitely like expressing ourselves when a boundary has been violated, right? Like when we've said a no.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
like something happens, we express our discomfort, we do this, and then that's not honored or that's not respected. Or growing up, we might not have the place, or our parents may not
Mhm.
have the capacity to hold that space and to be able to like listen to us. And so we have this sensation, so many women, of not having been heard, not having been like fully seen or respected as sovereign souls and sovereign individuals, because we're told to like, don't take that space, be quiet, be a good little girl, sit and be pretty. Like if it's not up to us to scream and make noise and be chaotic, like that's not our role. Like just like we're taught really to be kind of in this submissive position. And so I kept welcoming women into the space, into sound, and sound was what allowed me to express myself, to be able to verbalize, vocalize, and eventually sing and then play these instruments and like fill rooms and spaces and have people want me to come and use my voice in particular for activation. And it was crazy because I had such a resistance with my own voice and only started singing 4 years into my process of doing sound after being really like pushed by my teacher, like really, really pushed. And I was 4 years a sound healer, and she kept saying, Sarah, use your voice. You're here to heal with your voice. You're here to play the drum. She was a Native American medicine woman. And I was like, this is not my drum, not my culture, not my thing. And she kept pushing and pushing and pushing and saying, one day, Sarah, you're going to heal with the voice. You're going to help women liberate their voice. You're going to help women express. And I was like, how am I going to do that if I can't even step up to the plate and do that? So it was like a lot of integration and a lot of like exploring the discomfort, because anybody can play sound, right? Anybody can play a bowl, but how to really like make a name for yourself in this industry, in this work, is to bring your essence, your song, your voice, your frequency into it, so you stand out amongst all of the other people who are doing it, and then people can really resonate with you and your essence.
Yes.
So the women who come now are actually coming for voice activation, for voice liberation, to start to really express themselves to their lovers, to their family, to their colleagues, and really just take up space that they've never been able to take up. But that activates all kinds of things for them in their system. So they need like
Beautiful.
really support to be able to get there.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying, and that's kind of like my approach too, is we can only take somebody as far as we've gone ourselves, right?
Like
Like if
legit.
not, it's like when I'm just reciting something, I'm just reciting something from a book or from, someone else. But if I haven't lived it, I cannot like it emotionally take someone through that process. So I love what you're saying. And I think that's where we can dive deeper into vibration. What is vibration, and what is that almost like blueprint of who we really are? I've been in your sound baths, and I've done a lot of like transformational shamanic journeys too, where I feel so much with the nonverbal. Like there's something about like trying to put, reactions or traumas or triggers into words is so limiting. It's like one tiny little percentage of the language of life. But like trees don't talk, water doesn't really talk, the sun doesn't really talk, but yet they're so loud, right? There's so much that we are perceiving and receiving. Um, so how do you perceive, like, what is the nature of sound? Because I know in like the ancient Egypt, like sound was revered, right? And they use sound so much. But how does sound, like, what is sound? What is sound beyond what we know it?
Depends how like interdimensional and cosmic we want to go, right? But I mean, the Bible says in the beginning there was the word, and in the beginning there was sound, right? The Big Bang. So we have the Bible saying it, and we have it in the explanation of how the universe came into creation through vibration, through the power of sound, through the intensity of those vibrations, and everything amplified and exploded out. I mean, everything has a
Mhm.
vibration, everything has a frequency, everything has energy. So for me, like there is nothing that isn't sound, because everything is on a wave, on a vibrational wave, right? And the beautiful thing about sound and the work that we do is that exactly what you were touching into is that so often people come, but they haven't processed what's like deep inside themselves, right? They don't have the words for that. They don't have the ability to like express it. And then when you bring the sound in, and then the sound starts to interact and engage with their bodies and their cells, and emotions start popping up and their body starts like adjusting, right? And then we're
Mhm.
coming into resonance, the frequencies of the instruments with their own individual frequencies. And then like all of a sudden people are having experiences that are transcendental, right? That it looks like they're on a DMT trip, it looks like they're on an ayahuasca journey, like, but there's no psychedelics that are, you know being taken or ingested, but the DMT
Mhm.
has the opportunity of being activated within the pineal gland in the sound bath, right? So the colors
Mhm.
and the shapes and the visitations and the spirits and the feelings and sensations on a somatic level. So
Yeah.
for me, sound is, it's everything and it's nothing, and you can't taste it and you can't touch it and you can't prove it and you can't hold it. So people are like, how does it work? And I don't need to prove how it works. Like I have a lived experience of it working. But for me, sound is the oldest medicine and the first medicine. And every culture, every tradition across history has
Yeah.
engaged with music, with sound, with vocalization, with instruments. We go 43,000 years back in the archaeological record, and we have bone and antler flutes that are being made. We have drums that are made across all continents. And then we see that there's like musical scales and notes that actually move across the continent. So they're being passed down to different places. And so we're sharing the culture and the transmission of the importance of sound. So for me, sound is like connection to God, to higher level dimensional planes. It's a
Mhm.
direct access line to God. I mean, we ring the church bells, I ring my bells, and out of body experience. So it's for me, it's a channel, and it's like a
Yeah.
transmission sourced directly from the cosmos.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow. Bam. So good. Yeah. I'm just thinking about like a crystal bowl, or like a Tibetan bowl, let's say. And when you hit it, the sound just keeps on going and going and going, and you think it's gone. And if you put your ear to it, it's like it's still there. There's still more and more and more. And if we put our hand on it, right, like it just goes out right away. So as you're talking, I'm just reflecting on like as babies, like babies are born into the world. The way they express their basic needs is sound. The way they just sleep and everything. Even when we sleep, there's sound, right? When we make love, there's sound. When there's like romantic journeys, there's sound, right? Um, and like how much of it is like, we're almost like putting that hand on our mouth and covering it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I feel personally like it would like trigger now with wearing a mask personally. Like, I don't want to go too deep into the mask discussion here, but it kind of like activates that in me. As soon as I put that on, it's like, whoa, this has been done to me before, either like
Yes.
in past lifetimes or like that feeling of like, keep it quiet, do not speak, and just reading some of the comments, and like women are saying yes, they're saying, I have so much to say, but I feel choked. Someone else is saying, I sang since I was 7, and I always wanted to work with my voice, but I was really afraid of it, and I sabotaged myself so many times. So it's like it's almost like how we self-sabotage ourselves. So it's almost like I put my own hand on that like Tibetan bowl or medicine bowl to prevent my own sound from this perfect vibration. So yeah.
Absolutely. But it's not like, so the thing with sabotage, and everybody is like, I'm self-sabotaging, and it's something that we really throw out there, but what we have to bring awareness and compassion to is that we don't wake up and go, I'm going to self-sabotage today, right? It's like our coping mechanisms and the way that we keep ourselves safe from some perceived fear that is usually like shaped and founded upon a past experience, right? So when we muzzle ourselves and when we quiet ourselves and when we shut ourselves down from not being able to express, it's because we're just trying to keep our body in a state of safety, right? So like when I ask a woman to sing, and I've already established safety, we've already unpacked like the trauma and the stuff that's in the way, and then I have a drum and I put it in their hands, and then I start singing, and then I ask them to sing, and then they can't, and then I literally have to sit in front of them, and then like this has to happen. like the deepest cries, and then they literally have to feel how the whole body is just like in an active state of trauma, right? Like the nervous system becomes completely dysregulated, and then like you're stuck in it, right? So until you come back into this regulated state, like expressing is impossible. And so
Yeah,
when we're
it's
like,
almost like very,
yeah,
yeah,
like
it
this
seems like
can
this
happen.
very primal state, which is like almost like animal state, like,
Yeah.
fight or flight. I'm feeling like my mind is racing. There is, yeah, very
And
short and
we say sing or express yourself or speak. Like we say that to somebody, but they're in this active state where they don't actually have the capacity to do it. And it's like, come on, come on. So it requires like, okay, now we're at like the juicy, like the really, like, I'm not vegetarian, but we're like at the meat and potatoes. Like, when like that comes up, I get so excited. Like this is my favorite moment. Like that. I'm like, yes, let it out. Like I'm like a conductor for the emotion, just like surfacing, right? Because then this element of like when your nose is running down your face and the tears are all out, and you've been like so vulnerable and so messy, then like why couldn't you try to express yourself and try to sing and try to verbalize and vocalize when you're already so like undone? Like that's the moment of the breaking through and open.
oh, that's amazing. I'm feeling just so grateful, like, diving into this conversation with you. And I see that, like, because we built up, like, in the beginning, we spoke about like our self-worth, either in work or, assuming ourselves. Then we spoke about emotions, shining bright, connecting with people. Yesterday we talked about like building our empires and all that. But truly, like, I'm like, now we're dropping deeper into the real deal conversation of like that pure alignment of being aligned who you really are deep inside in your essence. And then the rest, it's almost like I see that once there's this inner alignment deep inside of us, everything else comes in and falls into place, like effortlessly, almost like. So,
Exactly. It's just arriving at like the neutral position that you will just be and operate and resonate exactly as you are. And whoever will come into your field and stay is wonderful. And whoever will go is also wonderful too. Like when you're just standing in your truth and in your real expression, and when you're able to take up the space and the place and express, and like people will naturally fall back or they'll be attracted and they'll be drawn into your field. It's like it's beautiful because when
mhm,
we're there, we don't have to do anything. We just are it.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, amazing. Right. I know we always like brainstorm a question in the group, like with the retreat of like maybe an experience or something that's do you have a question that like a leading question that maybe we can ask women right now of like where things are at so we can take them on a little journey or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would just invite them to like take a moment and just like close their eyes and place their hands on their throat and just see if we were to ask them, like if they were on a live, if you were right here with us, ladies, on this call, and everybody could see you and hear you, and if we were to ask you to express and to sing, I'm just wondering if you could notice what you would feel somatically in the body, what emotions would come up, what kind of sensations does that question or invitation invoke within you? Do you feel like excited by the prospect? Do you feel nervous but curious? Do you feel expanded? Would you want to like get off the call and hide and nobody ever knew you were here and not have to share? Would you want to kind of step up and have the opportunity to be vulnerable and to see what happens? So not that we're doing that. We're not going to bring you in and we're not going to put you on the spot, but just imagining and being curious of your body's reaction and of your nervous system. If you find yourself kind of getting dysregulated at even just the idea of that, just being present with that, and then feeling into that and asking yourself where that may come from if you're encountering resistance, where you were told that it wasn't safe to express, to verbalize, to vocalize, or to sing. Maybe you sang, and when you were younger, somebody told you were a terrible singer or a terrible musician, like all my teachers did. Yeah. Maybe they thought you were awful and that you shouldn't even sing in the choir, like my teachers did. My dad told me to sing turnip, turnip, turnip in the school choirs and presentations. So maybe somebody told you you weren't good at it. Or my mom would tell me, please stop singing in the bathtub, because I would sing I Can Show You the World, from Aladdin, over and over and over again in the bathtub. And maybe your voice bothered somebody in your home. But just look and see when you go there if things like pop up to the surface, and if you have an emotion that's present. And then ask yourself if you're ready to just try to liberate the voice when nobody can see you and nobody's watching. If you can actually allow for that possibility. Yeah, Christina. Yeah, I know there's a tension that happens, right? Absolutely. And the tears, because Christina, I know you actually want to express your voice and liberate and free yourself. And we've been working together for 8 years, right? Expansion. Then my brain starts thinking how I'm not trained, don't feel I have a good voice, etc., etc. Absolutely. Yeah. And so, what if you aren't trained, and what if you don't have a good voice? Like, who's the judge of you having a good voice or not? Where does that come from? And I'm tone deaf. So, let me be the first one to give you permission that we're not going to do it from a musical perspective. I'm like the anti musical sound healer, I'm the intuitive channel sound healer. Okay. I can't hold a tone, I can't sing to somebody else's song. And that's the whole point of this like workshop and this exercise here, is that it's finding your song. And it's
Mm,
not a song that exists. You've never heard it. It's
Mhm.
nobody else's. It's in your tone, your frequency, your perfect pitch. And it changes and it shifts in the moment in what's present for you here now.
Mhm.
So if we take off that pressure, Beth, Christina, Julie, how does that feel at the possibility of it's not a performance and there's no expectation and there's no pressure?
Mm. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like physical tension, physical tension. And yeah, and I do have like the past life memory that arises that I was hung in Salem, and it was like I feel it like right here, you know. So that's what's present.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. Thank you, Christina. So, but this is the thing is that, and before I sing, I'll be the first one to communicate with you before every sound bath that I do. And I've now facilitated over, like, I'm at 6,000 sound baths, whether they're private sessions or group sessions. And before every moment when I'm about to sing, I have to say a prayer. And I literally have to surrender. That's why Sarah surrenders, because my name is actually Sarah Turner. So I literally have to surrender to spirit. And my conversation is almost always this: if I'm going to be so brave and so bold and so vulnerable and stand here naked, please allow something to flow through me to be of the highest level of service. I let go and release all judgments, all expectations, and I allow grace and God to move through me and flow through so that my song may serve and help whoever is here in this space, in this room, in this moment, who needs to hear the transmission that's about to move through. And then I do a breath, and then I pick up a drum, or I start my gong, or I start my crystal bowl. And again, I'm doing the breaths because it's not a comfortable position because I'm not a trained singer at all. And I just call in that higher level guidance, and then I just get out of the way. I get out of the way. And by handing it over to like a higher power, it kind of takes off the responsibility from my shoulders, you know? Like Liz Gilbert talks
Mhm.
about this actually, of like how when the genius comes in and that like I channel a lot of information, and it's not me channeling. When I'm speaking, when I'm writing, when I'm doing the work, I'm like, wow, they're awesome. And I go, hey, my guides are doing it, right? And I, but not here, not here, not here, not here. And that's really liberating. So when we talk about like vocal liberation and the liberation of your song, you're like the channel, you're the transmitter, you're the conductor, and you're allowing spirit to be expressed like through you, but it's not for you. It's for the people who are there. And
Mhm.
you're sending that out into the ethers, and you're sending love and you're sending light because that's what your intention is. So as long as your intention behind the voice, see, the ego is going to get in the way and you're not going to be able to step up and be of service to yourself or others when the ego is in the way. So you just say, you tuck it aside, and you're like, I'm Marina Surrenders. You know, I'm Christina Surrendered, right? Everybody's gonna have the same name. And you just allow and you hold space. And some days I'm blown away by what comes out. Like I can't even believe that it's my voice because it doesn't have that range, it doesn't have that capacity. I've never done it before. And I go, holy moly, I record myself and I have tears running down my face and I go, really? So you'd be surprised the miracles that can happen if you only get out of the way and allow the exploration to actually happen. But if you don't allow the exploration to happen, like that moment's not ever happening. So you have to be
Mhm.
enough, courageous enough to go there, even though you might not feel so comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm like feeling a lot grounded already and like dropped in instantly. And it starts with like, yeah, naming what's there,
Yeah.
tightness, nervousness, memories, whatever is there, like giving presence and acknowledging that what is present. And then like I love your approach of just genuine curiosity, genuine holding space for ourselves or being held in, you know, someone else's presence and surrendering that it's like way beyond me, this little body of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
get over yourself. That's literally what you have to do. Like get over yourself and the fear of being judged. You're gonna be judged anyways. You're always gonna be judged. There will be like the most magical. Like I listen to some wonderful women who put out the most amazing, fantastic music that I go like, I can't put my music out against this, like next to this. Like, are you kidding? Like perfection, and like 1.8 million likes or like thousands of subscribers, and you'll still see like 4,000 people who clicked like thumbs down. Like you'll still see that, and I'm like, there's always going to be haters, there's always going to be people attacking, there's always going to be people like passing a judgment. So
Yeah.
let them pass their judgments and do you, boo.
Oh, so good. So good. Judgment, I think, is like the fear of like public speaking, the fear of being judged is one of the biggest ones that prevents us from being us. And then we're trying to fit in all these other opinions, which are like, yeah, could be hundreds out there. And then no kidding, we're like, we don't remember who we are because we've been too busy trying to please all these like different opinions for sure.
It's the
Yeah.
external validation, but if you're serving spirit and you're serving God and your work is powerful, you're passionate, you're on mission, and like I've devoted myself to this for the last 8 years. Like this is what I do all day, every day. I am not for everybody, but like I've had medicine, just like every woman on the call has medicine, every human has medicine. And whoever the medicine is for, they'll find it and they'll receive it. It's an
Hmm.
offering. That's the other thing. When you're sharing and you're putting yourself out there, like you're
Yeah.
sharing your gift and you're daring to be so vulnerable and exposed to help other people, not because there's a benefit behind it, but you're showing up in the way you've been guided to show up, and that's beautiful and should be celebrated. But so often it's
Yeah.
not necessarily celebrated for how big it is.
Right. And I hope that we are changing that paradigm. I think we are with our communities. That's what I'm creating here as well, as like having a safe place for women to express themselves, just whatever arises, and be all of us. And also who we are to each other. It's like removing this, yeah, old concepts of fear of being judged, or even competition is another big one for women that I'm like completely removing and trusting that the right teacher is for the right student. They're right. We're at all different stages in our life. So at some stages, it's normal to transition and seek for a different guidance, different healing piece to our puzzle, to our song, to our evolution. So, and really tapping into and trusting the abundance piece, that the abundance is absolutely everywhere. Um, and the more authentic we are, and the more we can drop into our unique expression, the more the right people are going to come and join us on that journey, whether it's to work with, whether it's like building your tribe and just surrounding yourself with these amazing people. But it starts with us, right? Like that original song, our song, who we are.
Exactly. Like, and it's about like when I first heard my teacher, she was my first sound bath experience, and I heard her drum and sing, and the voice, like I hadn't woken up yet. I hadn't had my near death experience. I was trying to find myself, but I didn't think I had found myself in the sound baths. But I heard her play that drum and I heard her sing, and my voice said, "She's your teacher." I was like, teach me what? Like, why would I go learn from this lady? Like, I'm not going to be singing and playing a drum. Like, are you a lunatic? Like, and then 4 years later, she was my teacher because I had received, okay, you're ready for her. Find your teacher now. And there I Googled her and I traveled across the world. I went to Bali to go work with her, right? So, like, if people are ready to work with you, like, it doesn't matter what that means. Like, the opportunity cost of getting to your teacher and getting that one-to-one transmission and the teachings, like, it's not something you read in the book, it's not something you watch on a YouTube video. It's like that direct transmission of that energy. So people, there's abundance everywhere. Like, people who are serious will come and they'll find you and they'll work with you, and that's what we just have to always trust and know, like, deep in our heart.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Um, Thank you so much. Like, if women can take note of that process that Sarah took us through, you have your workbook, so you can state it there. The exercise that you walked us through was really brilliant. Like, hands on the throat, what's
Yeah,
present, what are you, right? Notice what's there, and then what, surrender and see, like, get the curiosity, right? Just be curious about, like, okay, well, why not? How? Like, oh, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And another to take it even like deeper is to put one hand on the yoni, right? Because I always say I'm singing from my yoni, right? So what does it feel when you actually put your hand on your womb and then your hand on your throat?
Yeah.
And then you start to activate that energy, that kundalini energy, and allow it to move up and then allow it to be expressed if it feels safe or not. And something you can just start with like a hum. You don't have to full on sing. It could just be
Mm,
words.
yeah.
Oh, you were singing over us. Julie, that is amazing. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you already worked with the exercise and already had an impact. Doesn't matter. You didn't have to hear what we were saying. That's amazing.
Mm. So good. Yeah, Julie's really diving into fully sharing
Yeah,
her voice. It's so beautiful. Amazing.
beautiful.
Thank you, Julie. Um, so the question is, we're going to be wrapping up soon, and the question is, to me, is always like, okay, then what? Like once we have the activation, once you go on a retreat somewhere, like some women are in a retreat now, once we go on that amazing transformational journey, we discover a new part of ourselves that feels right. That is like, yes, finally, I'm feeling me. This is great. What is the right or your suggestion to how to sustain or nurture that?
Well, the beauty with singing and with voice and expression is that it's a day to day like exercise and a moment to moment exercise because you can connect with yourself deeply and express and feel like really feel into what's present in your system. And what I like to say is so the whole way I work with clients is that they tell me their stories and then I create a soundscape to like
Mm,
kind of represent and reflect that dance that they're going through. And so you don't have all of these instruments, but maybe you have some of these instruments. But you can say, like, if I were to represent and reflect and project out into this universe, into this multiverse, how I feel now present in this moment through the power of my voice. Yeah? Like, in order to have anything manifest, you need to be using the voice. If the voice isn't there, the manifestation is not coming. I don't care how much work you do, it needs to be verbalized and vocalized and sent out there, projected. So the more you can get comfortable with the expression of your soul's song and of the
mhm,
sounds that want to come out, even if they're weird. Like I do really weird sounds and songs, and it changes every day. Just have that safe space and that container for yourself, or for a few moments a day, you get to explore your voice and see how it shakes and see where there's confidence and see where there's excitement and see that once you start singing you don't want to stop, but don't sing a song. That's really like my invitation is not to sing something but to sing
mhm,
something that comes from you, that has never been put out into the universe before. So you're
mhm,
bringing that frequency, that tone, that is medicine for the world and for this moment we find ourselves in, and that is there to heal and soothe you and your families and your partners and the people all around you. The voice is the only instrument we need. It's the most powerful healing tool we've ever had, and every mother knows that, right? Like, is there ever a mother who hasn't used sounds or noises or tones in order to soothe her baby? First, starting with the heartbeat, right? So just
mhm,
allow yourself to have like an experience of exploring like all of the power that is in here and how you feel when you express, because I promise that you'll get more adventurous, and it will last 30 seconds longer and a minute longer, and then you're going to want to extend it and extend it and extend it, because you're going to feel this power, this energy, this surge, source, God, whatever you want to call it, spirit channeling through you, and it becomes a
mhm,
mystical experience. What about channeling light language tones? Go for it. Exactly. Like, don't limit yourself. Sound, it's sound. Anything you want to do.
mhm,
I can't see
mhm.
a lot of the names. It just says Facebook users, but yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Light language codes, I do it all the time. Just express instead of this repression. Give yourself permission, especially now with those things that we're wearing. Really, when you have the opportunity, like sing in your car, sing while you walk, sing while you clean, sing while you cook, sing in the bath, Sing while you make love, hum while you make love, have fun with your own mouth, do these humming things. The vibrations are orgasmic. Play with your mouth and your capacity to make sounds and vibrations with your body. It's
Mm.
magic.
Wow, wow, wow. Yummy. I can just taste all the sounds and like feel
Yep,
them all. So good.
exactly.
So
It's like
good.
butter. It's like butter. You have the capacity to melt yourself.
Yeah.
Like bring yourself such regulation, such peace, such calm, such clarity, such serenity to self-soothe through your own voice. And we're not taught that. But like use your voice, whatever it sounds like, and it will get better. I'm much better and much better than 4 years ago. I get better every day.
Beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Amazing. Okay, it was Marilena saying this was me. Julie saying so inspiring, Sarah. If you have any questions, pop them in here. If you have like one or a couple of like closing questions, we'll grab that. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. I come from like I've been like a yogini personality for like over a decade. That chapter is kind of closing. But I've noticed that there are the chakra systems, and I can just like feel like there are also like every chakra has a vibration to it. But at some point, I could feel where the people are speaking from, or where am I speaking from? Am I speaking from my heart? Am I speaking from my yoni? Or am I just speaking from my mind and throat? It's got a very different vibrational quality to that. So in the yoga system, they also have like the chakra system. So I love the fact that you're saying like connecting the yoni and the throat, because those two chakras even in the Chinese medicine, those two are like they just go together. Very feminine energy in here.
Like like if somebody's working on their sacral, there's no way they're going to be able to express. Like if there's a sexual abuse trauma and I tell you to sing, we're not getting there like that. Like we need to connect the two and establish safety. And like if we look at them on a physiological level, they like look almost identical. If you look at the portal here and the portal here, and we look at photos, they are almost identical. So they are so connected, and both of them are so juicy. And all of our power of manifestation and co-creation and like liberating ourselves, like those are the
Wow.
two chakras. Like you got to liberate the yoni and you got to liberate the voice. And that's why I work in tandem with womb activation, womb healings, womb blessings, and then like the throat singing becomes an opportunity once we've dealt with like those deeper level traumas first that get in the way of this. So like there's no way of working around it, which is why the work that I do, I find it so important, because when you take a singing lesson, it's not looking at the reason why you can't sing or why you're terrified of singing. You're already in the singing lesson because you've already worked through that. But what about all the women who want to sing and who just don't know how because they were told that they're not good, or it feels really scary, or trauma's in the way? But we should all be singing, especially now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we need to sing together, and singing together as women in circle
Mhm.
is the most powerful and potent thing we can do, and that in itself helps heal the men as well.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that it's like so profound when we get together with women and someone just starts drumming or leading this song, and it's like it's almost like when someone else can do this, it gives a permission to everybody else to also like share their voice, step into that space. So the more we can share our voices, the more we give permission to other people around us to do the same, to shine, to express ourselves. Yay. So there's a question here about any suggestions for someone who might face having discomfort of it. Having been done it the first time always irks me.
Yeah. And my only invitation for you is to really set up a condition and a space and a time and a moment when you are feeling as like relaxed as possible. And when that discomfort comes up, that you lean into it, and knowing that you can do it for 10 seconds. And maybe hearing yourself will be terrifying. Maybe the voice in your head, you'll be full of judgment, like judgment towards yourself. And maybe there'll be a trauma activation release that will happen where like guilt and shame and all these things might like come piling up and out, and you'll be able to feel them and process them. So just in opening the voice, if there's an emotion that's there, just like feeling into it and not judging yourself and loving yourself and like holding yourself with like such love and tenderness and care and compassion and speaking to the little girl within and telling her that it's okay and she doesn't have to do this today and that like every day you can just try a little bit just at the thought and the idea of expressing yourself without putting the pressure that you have to arrive there or get there in that moment. Like that doesn't help. Pressure doesn't help. But it's uncomfortable and it's never going to be comfortable. Like I'm not still comfortable and I do it all day every day and I teach women how to do it. It's like, but and that's why I'm a badass to do it with you, because I'm right there with you and I know what it brings up. Let it come up.
Mm-hmm.
Just allow. Like don't, the more you resist, the more it persists. Like just be present with all that is there and understanding there's reasons that there's stuff that is stuck there, especially now. There's so many things that we're dealing with that it's normal that you're feeling like this and stuck. And it doesn't really feel safe right now in our current world to voice or to say or to speak anything
Yeah.
really truthful. So little baby steps, but don't wait for comfort. You're never going to get there.
Yeah. That's what I found. Like, healing happens in these stages where it can be like really, really slow sometimes. And then all of a sudden, it like propels us to new levels. And you're like, whoa, like I did not even see
Oh,
it coming. Or say it's quantum. It's literally like quantum leaping, where it just like propels us to a whole other level. Yeah. What I also like love to do with like the tantra trainings and everything and healing the body is setting these containers like you're saying and setting playtime aside from just making love or being with your partner or doing this in a in a circle of people like where they're singing or something, but setting like these little mini containers for training or play and turning it into a practice. Like, okay, today we're just doing 15 minutes of play and exploration, and not having it to go somewhere or like, listen, I love that you're naming these safe environments and spaces, make a huge difference.
yeah,
Mm,
nothing's happening without established security and safety. Like
yeah.
nothing. And that means that you're at home, but like your partner doesn't feel safe. Like to be honest, I don't enjoy singing in front of my partner. Like I just
Hmm.
it's in the same way I can't do this interview if my partner's in the room or if somebody else is in the space. I can't do a story, I can't do a Facebook live. Like in order for me to be able to transmit and to be like really tapped in and tuned in and integrity with my energy and what I'm transmitting, there can't be like this observer effect, right? And we know that when there is an observer effect, that everything changes and everything shifts. So if you're like, I don't know how to do it, maybe somebody can hear you and that's what's causing the block. But one of my favorite places to sing, which feels really safe and really fun for me, is the bathtub. And the acoustics are amazing. I'm like, I should record my whole album in the bathroom and in the shower. I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's amazing. I'm like, wow, like I'm Shania Twain up in here, but doing like
Oh,
light language channelings, So
mhm.
allow yourself to do it in a place that feels good and you're already comfortable in. If you have a little meditation corner or like go into the forest. I just moved up north, I'm in St. Sauveur, so I go and I walk and I'm with the trees and I sing, or with a river, you just sit on a rock and the river is just like rumbling and you can just sing and you can chant and nobody has to hear you. We're in the canoe on the lake and I just sing. So just
Mm,
sing where it feels safe. And if singing is too much, start with the hum and feel how it activates and moves through your entire body and just feel that electricity and that vibrancy.
mm, mm. Sarah, thank you so, so much. I don't know if you can see the chat, but I popped in a few names for women. We do a draw every day. Today we have a draw with cacao. We had the book, the draw. I know you've been using this cacao too, so it's nice. We had the book, we have the cacao today. So I'm going to ask you to name a winner after this. And we're going to leave you with home play for today as well. So, like Sarah is inviting us to play with the voice, explore, have the space to tune in, to listen to what's present, what's alive, what is stuck, and also be curious about like what if. Dare to give it voice, give it sound. So we're going to post a little post later in the day. And for today, I was called to actually, as a price, this is the first time I'm announcing this. Um, I've been working with the geodesic dome, which is the molecule of like the flower of life. And this is the multi-dimensional, three-dimensional. But there's actually a product that you can ingest, and it's literally the C60 molecule. So I was called this morning. I was like, okay, it's not going to be cacao. I'm going to give away the Bucky product for 30 days for you to use. So you're literally ingesting the flower of life and this like incredibly the geodesic dome into your system, which is incredible antioxidant and everything. So this is going to be the price for today, but I will let you announce someone for the cacao for yesterday.
Do I get to choose them?
You get to choose from the names that I sent you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want me to choose somebody right now?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go with Verona.
Verona! Whoop whoop! The drink of the queens goes to Verona. Yay. I'm so happy. Yay. Congrats. Congrats. All right. Sarah, thank you so much for being with us. Just tell people, how can they get in touch with you and your work?
Perfect. I'm a little old school, so I don't have all my programs and packages listed. I'm in transition, letting go of this Sound Temple in Montreal, moving northbound. Everything will be up in April, May. But if you want to work with me, just add me on Facebook, Sarah Surrenders, my website, sarahsurrenders.com, or Instagram. You can also find me on there, Sarah Surrenders, or at the Resonance Temple. Just send me a direct message or send me an email, and I would love to connect and to see what we could do together.
Amazing. Sarah, thank you so much for the high vibrational conversation. I'm sure we've planted some seeds that, like, we're going to touch upon in a few months, and this is going to go a long way. Like ripples of sound, ripples effect that's just going to keep on growing, and the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and celebrating this Women's Day, Women's Week, Women's Life, yeah, so thank you so much. Bye. Great. Sweet. All right, everyone. There you go. You have it. Such a beautiful, juicy conversation with Sarah. It's been amazing. Thank you all for tuning in this entire week. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, we're going to have Mel Sirois join us. And Mel is, just like Sarah talked about vibration and the voice, tomorrow we're going to go into movement and our bodies, the tapping into the wisdom, the intelligence of our bodies, and not practicing the movement, but just exploring how what's present in our bodies, and not a beautiful vehicle for who we are and who are we becoming. So thank you all so much. We're going to post some the play and the prices there later on. Thank you for connecting. And I want to take a little minute to also talk to you about the bigger journey that I opened up yesterday, and that I'm also, opening up for women for this whole year. I got, so last year we did like a 90-day mastermind, a couple of them. And then this year, again, I was tuning into the guidance and the intuition, and they were like, 90 days is like way too short. Life just goes by like this in 3 months, and we don't see it go by. It's almost like we're just, working on the surface of things. So I was guided to offer a space of a whole 1 year container to their vision and embark on a journey of transformation. So I'm offering a medicine wheel journey. And the medicine wheel is a Native American way of life. It's been here for such a long time. It's an incredible system where there's a place for everything. There's a place for our mind, for our thoughts, the mindset, for the body, the physical body, the yoni, the sexuality, the material realm of what we surround ourselves with. What is their environment? We've been talking a lot about environment this week. We've been talking about the people who surround us, the sisters who surround us, whether it's at work, in our tribes, at home. So that's the part that we're addressing there as well. There's a piece for sacred ceremonies and how to create your own ceremonies in your life to either celebrate and propel you to the next level, either to transmute and like eliminate and cleanse ourselves. But it's a lot about like the energetic alignments as well as your own enhancing your heart, your mind, and your energy. So the Medicine Wheel program, thank you for posting the link in there. You can check it out. All the information is in there. And I wanted to bring another beautiful sister here with me, who's been with us for a couple of journeys now. And I can tell you a lot about it, but I find it speaks volumes. Let me see. There you go.
Hello.
Hi, Anne-Laure. But
Um,
it speaks more when like someone else can have that another perspective and share their own experience of your journey. So we've known each other for I don't know how many years now.
4 years.
4 years. We met at an incredible Tony Robbins UPW training. And we did a carpool from Montreal to New York City together.
Amazing.
It was awesome. And it was your birthday, and it was like such a transformational event. And I also find myself when I go to these big events, it creates like this whoop, huge transformation where I'm like, oh my God, yes, I can. This is possible. That is possible. And then I go back into my environments, and sometimes my environments did not necessarily represent that high vibrational state, the mind, the energy that I was experiencing. So actually, right after the Tony Robbins event, I joined a mastermind, and that propelled me to really commit to myself and face myself in the day to day. And that's why I was called to do a mastermind, but in a feminine way, where there's women and we just navigate in a more fluid, flexible, creative spaces. So I want to thank you for being here with me, and just want to open it up to you, what you want to share about your experience with us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You had a great idea. No, but for real. I did like two mastermind with you, and I'm going to take another one. So thank you very much. Yeah. I can just share, me, I'm working, as a therapist online. I'm training as a Jungian analyst. I did an NVC nonviolent training. And so now, I've got the clients, the business, etc. But to have this support every week, for me, it was a very, how do you say in English? You can hear my French accent, but uplifting to become more the woman that I am already, but I didn't know. You speak about David, the sculpture this week. It's that, you have an idea of who you are and what you do in life, but with what you offer, this space is very like, take it off, to just see the full sculpture, so it's very helping. And for me, I really took this space as an incubator. And the biggest surprise I had was like, the more you give in this incubator, the more you receive, So after the last mastermind, a project that I am working on right now, that it will be online soon, like to do conferences, emerges from the mastermind. I had no idea I wanted to do that in my life. But because I took this space, as an incubator, and I gave something of myself, and it was like, wow, yeah, I like to do that, And I did it because I felt safe, I felt welcome, and, surrounding by extraordinary women, and you, leading this group. It was amazing, So that's for me, in a word, that what was my experience. but I could resume also what you offer, because it's amazing. It's up to you.
Yeah. So, obviously, like, I have a lot of personal development. Like, I have a big personal development background that, I've been in that world since I'm 20 years old, and then the yoga world since I'm like 17. So these are the tools that I've been like, like I base my life on. This is how I kind of live. But what about the feminine twist to it? Can you speak into that? Like, what made a difference versus being like just in a group of people, but with women in particular?
Yeah. Actually, women, but I think the strength of your mastermind is you give yin and yang energetic tools, because it's a weekly meeting with women, first of all, where everything is welcome. We just come with what we are, so positive energy flows, everything is welcome, because we are a reflect of each other. So it's like watching a puzzle of yourself, and everyone is at the same place in the group. And so sometimes, just to share and just to be, how do you say that, contained by a group of sisters, it's amazing. So sometimes you will intervene, so sometimes it's another sister you will intervene. So it's a safe space where you can share and find yourself. I love the fact that every week we talk about a theme, like you bring something about the feminine energy. Actually, you bring something. We talk about feminine leadership, and we just don't talk about it, we create it. That's the other part, because you gave us like young tools, you give concrete tools, from Greg, from other sisters, we bring from time management, from how to work with daily routines and working on your goals, missions, but very concrete. Actually, something that I love is your like, you give a very good material, like a paper material every week, with it's great, it's beautiful. So you talk about feminine energy, but I love your visual, it's beautiful. First of all, it's very well done. It's something that I still use, it's been 3 months I am not in the mastermind, and I'm like using it every day, so it's beautiful tools that you gave us every week. And we have to do the home play. I don't know if you have to talk about that already. It's not homework, for real. It's home play, because you just have to think about yourself, and you have the tools on your paper, and it's like how do you say, an enquête, an inquiry about yourself. It's very introspective and very, it's amazing, actually. And as a concrete example, for real, when I say, you don't believe me when I said that I use your tools, Marina. As a concrete example, yesterday, so it was my first day of the moon, and you talk about the wheel of the season as a woman, we talk of this kind of subject, and you give tools, Before being in the mastermind, I had no idea, like, yes, I had my period since I was 12, but I had no idea how to be with it, how to work with it. And actually, yesterday, you will see, I had a very busy day, but it was the first day of my moon, and I was so drained, my energy was so, and I just remember the wheel, and I remember in which season I was, and which kind of energy that I can bring and do with this kind of states. So instead of, how do you say, subir? Sure. Oh, it's breaking down.
I lost you for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So instead of subir, I don't know the word in English. Tu sais, quand tu subis quelque chose au lieu de...
kind of like surviving something.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Being at the effect of it.
Yeah, so instead of surviving with my fatigue yesterday, I clicked and I like, oh no, I can use this kind of energy and this fatigue and how I can act on it on my day. And it has changed. And for real, I had a decline. Oh, just remember the wheel of the season, and it has changed my day for real yesterday. So it's an example,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for saying it. Yeah, I didn't talk yet about like all the details. It's on the website, but it's not just there's a whole journey of the medicine wheel for a whole year. So people can enter either for a full year or for a season, like for a 3-month container. Right now we're entering spring with the spring equinox. So spring is incredibly potent. I'm so excited. We can I know in Montreal, we can feel the spring out here too. Like the snow is melting on the West Coast and it's nice. We can feel the spring and the energy is really bringing us forward into our life, a new cycle of our life. Like what are our ideas, projects, new inspirations that we're ready to plant and then nurture them and give them the right nutrients to really take care of them. So that's where like the mindset comes in, the heart set comes in, the tribe comes in, the environment, the soil, the people around us. So it's incredibly fun and powerful. I'm always blown away by how supportive women are in the community to one another, kind, cheering up on someone, praying on someone when someone goes into, an important day.
Yeah.
Wise or, delivering a presentation of something. We're all like sending high vibes.
Yeah.
And yes.
And more of that, I found true friends, in this group. Yeah.
Yep. Because we talk about real stuff real fast. Yeah. And then there's the online course that is included in there. And the online course is like people can do that at their own pace. And there's like, chapters on the masculine, the right and the left brain of like how to time manage, how to put your stuff into your purpose, your mission in life and chunk it out. Yeah. And then there's the feminine aspects, which is like, where's my energy? Where's my alignment? Where's my creativity? Where's my inspiration? Where's my intuition at? So I found those are beautiful tools for myself. Like I was talking to Sarah earlier, and she comes from School of Thought as well. Like I don't teach anything that I don't practice. It's like these are the tools literally that I've trained with amazing, incredible people for a long time, like almost 20 years now. It's going to be 20 years, like 17 years of my life. But I really extracted the gold, like the classics, the ones that work for me, like you're saying. Like I can pull out the tools that I'm sharing. I still use those tools. Yeah. They're the quickest, the fastest, the most profound tools that I found to work for me. And that's why I want like everybody to have them, everybody to share. And in there's like the special workshop on purpose and vision, time management. There's a few private sessions with me as well, like the one-on-ones. So anybody's interested, let us know, let me know, or our team who are there, and we're here. So let us know if you want to join the journey. We'll be starting it like next Tuesday, and we go on for as long as you want to go. And the money back guarantee, so there's like a 30-day policy if you want to pull out. That's available as well. And Laura, is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Yes, I like the fact that we are not, like just talking about feminine energy, something always, bubbly, spiritual, blah, blah, blah. We go dark, thanks. We go dark. No, but we can see all the aspects of the feminine, and we can speak also about the darkest part of the feminine. And I love this. For me, it's very how do you say? It's a high quality talking groups. It's not just superficial, and I love it. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, because it carries like that cycle of birth and death, which the feminine carries. It contains everything. And I'm taking to myself as like we're talking about evolving and like being fluid and flexible with life itself. And I personally finding myself evolving to the next levels of who I am as a partner, who I am as a lover, who I am as a mother, who I am as a leader in this world. So there's a continuous cycle of birth and death. And when we can do these ceremonies and the cycles for ourselves are incredibly powerful to evolve in our identities and who we are. So beautiful, beautiful.
I thank you so much, and I'm very happy to join myself next week. And I thank you so much for what you offer. It's such it's a gift, you know. You are gifted, so it's a gift. So thank you, Marina.
Kila. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this International Women's Day, International Women's Week, International Women's Life, and inviting that feminine energy to come in and shine bright in the world. This weekend, we're going to have 2 bonus days. We're going to have a Mel who's going to invite us into the wisdom of our bodies and movement. Life is movement. So Mel is going to join us here, same place, same time, tomorrow at 1:00. And on Sunday, I'm going to have actually my mentor, Claire Doe, join us. She's the one that taught me about the feminine cycles.
Wow.
So we're going to go to the source, and we're going to sit with her here, and then she's going to share with us about the wisdom of our feminine cycles. So join us for that. And Playful Out. So the beautiful prizes are available. Tomorrow, I'm going to be giving out the buckyballs. They're going to be amazing. And also, I feel like I want to announce one extra bonus is going to be the half scholarship into the program. So if you do all 5 home plays for all 5 days, I know we've had people who just just do a little blitz and watch the videos. We're going to do a replay this weekend as well. But if you do all 5, I'm going to announce a winner later, probably after the weekend. I'll give you the weekend to do it, but we'll announce the winner on Monday for the half scholarship for the program as well.
Good.
Yay.
Yeah. So cool.
Let us know. Thank you, Anne-Laure, for joining us so much. And thank you to Sarah also for her incredible transmission and her wisdom of the vibration. And I want to thank all the women that are tuning into the conversation and creating the safe space for each other, expressing themselves, giving that voice expression to what needs to be expressed and said, and choosing themselves, really saying yes to more, yes to who they are. It's really by choosing ourselves first and committing to ourselves that we give that, we set the tone for everything else in our life. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Anne-Laure. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.